Well, hello everyone. I hope everyone had a good weekend, and I'm going to pull up a chair and sit. We had an interesting weekend. Friday, Saturday, I was not feeling well, and it was so exciting. But Sunday, man, we were crazy busy. Didn't get out to the library to get it prepped for the next events in the coming weekends, which is going to be insane. But we did get some cool stuff in, and would love to start hearing from people. We've got a lot of amazing stuff coming up, and I'm trying to carve out more time in my daily life to do more with the library again. I'll get some availability to do some cool stuff, and then I won't. Pardon me. Yes, you can see. Hey, well, thank you very much for subscribing again. 24 months in a row. I can't believe we've been doing this. Oh, what happened to the Nunzio emote? The Nunzio emote should still be there. I suck with the emote thing here in Twitch. I will have to get with my emote maker supreme and find out what happened with our Nunzio emote. He goes, yeah, we should have Nunzio's not on there anymore. Because we've got our handful of dice, we've got some of our... Maybe we're only allowed to have so many? I don't know. Because we've got a new Super Uzi emote. Huh. Yes, I will have to figure out what's going on. What happened to our Nunzio emote? Nunzio needs to have his own emote. And Minerva's not here right now. She's been so spastic. Love her, but whew. And it's nice because Nunzio's finally warming up to that poor little thing. And they, all night long they were fighting. Make Nunzio a bit emote? Well, I can't share on my own channel, so I will have to see. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to see what's going on with our emotes. So, if you don't know who we are Alexandria RPG. We are a non-profit role-playing game library. How you doing there, Kyujin? We collect role-playing games to put into a library so that we can curate it out, take it to events, and when we get chances, we go to events and we chat with people. We go out and play games with veterans and at-risk teens, and we try to get other people to do the exact same thing. So, this was acquired through Facebook, of all places. And, man, do I want more. So, we've got the original core rules from Fantasy Trip, the little books. And this is where Steve Jackson got his start doing role-playing games before he started Steve Jackson Games. And it was funny because the company that made all the Fantasy Trip stuff went out of business, and it took Steve Jackson quite a long time to get the rights to his game. But he did, and they're making Fantasy Trip stuff now, which is really awesome, and we love it. And so let's look through what we acquired here for that's going to go into the library. So we got the Wizard basic Magic combat rules. We got Grail Quest for Fantasy Trip, Micro Quest 3. We're going to look at this one in a moment. We got Treasure of the Silver Dragon, Micro Quest 4, the $10,000 treasure hunt game. So, a 31-ounce solid sterling silver dragon is hidden in the United States. Information needed to find the silver dragon is in this programmed fantasy adventure. The person who actually finds the silver dragon gets to keep it and claim the $10,000 cash prize from Metagaming. If it has not been found by 1 September 1985, a drawing will be held for the cards from the cards in this adventure that have been mailed into Metagaming. Any of you might win. I'm going to have to do a video on that whole thing. This was kind of bonkers. See, Security Station for Fantasy Trip. High Technology Labyrinth. I remember going through this one because this one, I've always liked when companies go out of the setting of fantasy. You know, there's two in D&D, one in first edition, and I can never remember the name of it, and then the one in second edition is this one in second edition is the Night of the Comet. Both of them, your adventure is going through a crash spaceship, which are pretty awesome. And it's fun because everything is described in a fantasy way, but it's sci-fi stuff. And I love that. And this is also just another your fantasy folk going through a high tech adventure. See, a second copy of Grail Quest. The other one came in while you were out east in 2020. Oh, I haven't seen. Oh, I do remember. So we do have two copies of Grail Quest. And we're going to pop open a couple of these and look at them real quick. Here's Melee, so the basic fantasy combat rules. Death Crest. Oh, geez. Death Test. Yeah, Barrier Peaks is. I can never ever remember that one. I love Barrier Peaks. I've played it a bazillion times. It's one of the few modules I've run a bunch. So, Death Test, MicroQuest 1, Unicorn Gold, and Death Test 2. So, we're going to pop open Melee here. And, oh, I love this. Here's your rules. All the way, this is the 5th edition of it in 1981. And these are all your rules for close combat in Fantasy Trip. And a small little map generic map that you can game with. And you've got individual with crossbow, sword and shield. There's monsters. There's two-headed giant. So all types of awesome stuff in here. There's weapons. So this is a little two-headed axe that, man, my cleric in our Dungeon Crawl Classic game would absolutely love. The entire time he's been looking for he just has an itch to have an axe. It's what happens when you fall to a chaotic god and have no clue what's driving your life anymore. So I always love these because they were quick and simple. The rules were not vicious. They didn't get in the way. And here's all your melee stuff. So if you just wanted to play just melee, you could grab this, and all your close combat rules are right here. And that is the same size as the pocket box print of the Legacy Dungeon. Yeah, let's look at Wizard. So this is all your magic that you need. One of the dice are escaping. No. Oh no. There it is. And you get all kinds of... Look at that! That's a big old dragon! So here's going to be all your IQ 14 spells. Lightning, Summon Giant, Remove Iron Flesh, Teleport, instantly blinks Wizard to another hex. He may choose any phasing he likes in the new box. He doesn't have to be able to see the hex he is going to. Oh, that's nice. Some stats for some magical beasts. Missile spells, throne spells. See, I always thought Fireball was like a throne spell. And another map. But I have always loved stuff like this. It's so cool because this is a 4th printing, so also 1981. And so you got your giant dragon in there. You got a giant. You got a smaller dragon. I think that's actually it's a large magical snake, I think is what it's called in here. A magic user of some sort. Another magic user. Looks like a barbarian because it just has a sword and a loincloth. I mean, just because it's got a sword and loincloth doesn't mean it's barbarian. I mean, Dave the Barbarian didn't have just a sword and loincloth. But absolutely love these games. And I need to reach out to Steve Jackson Games again, because Steve Jackson is actually willing to come on and have a chat about his time in gaming and his inspirations and everything like we do. And if we do that how we normally do our chats, we will not have the issues we did this Saturday or Sunday, excuse me. But I did over on YouTube upload, because I recorded the whole show. So if you were trying to tune in this weekend while we were chatting with Ben Thompson and Brian Snowdy, I did record it and upload it. Yes, Brian and Ben were drinking, so as you watch, they get a little more silly, but that's fine. We're going to do some more fun things with them. They are just a hoot. Brian he's one of the original Magic the Gathering artists. Super humble, awesome guy. Brian and Ben have been playing games together for ages, and they like what we do. And I it's funny because it's kind of bonkers because I remember I was in high school, like looking at Magic cards and like, oh hey, seeing these names, and I've met every single one of the original Magic the Gathering artists except for Jesper Moyers, who at the time technically was an artist, if I remember correctly. He just worked at Wizards doing other stuff, and has gone on to actually have an art career. But it is funny that, as I've grown up, it's something you never think. You're like, oh, hey, cool. And, all the art that I admired over the years in books, in D&D and stuff, through my weird life, I've met almost every single one of the artists that I've admired art from. The only, original, old gamer creator, artist, anything that I didn't meet that I would have loved to was Dave Arneson. I met Gary Gygax a couple times. I've met tons and tons of awesome people, and then you get and it's awesome because a lot of the people within this industry are so amazing. So I'm going to do a whole video on this particular, because the Treasure of the Silver Dragon has a really awesome background, history, background, everything, and it deserves its own little video. In fact, there's probably one on YouTube, but I don't care. I'm going to do my own. Nothing. I'm going to do my own. Let's see. So we're going to go straight from here into not news, but crowdfunding. I ran way late at work. I still haven't even eaten yet. And I had a ton of crowdfunding stuff already prepped to share, and doing really quick, gonna be late. I didn't get to see anything awesome. Nothing jumped out at oh hey, news. I know this Friday the D&D movie opens, and I'm busy this weekend, so I'm probably not going to see it this weekend, but I'm probably going to see it. Not going to do a review or anything on it. I'm not necessarily... I've tried really hard to stay out of any hype or anything. I have not watched a single bit of trailers or anything, so I'm trying to go into it as blind as possible. And you get to see my lovely hand as I take us over to the screen here. We're going to start off with an Indiegogo campaign. We don't go to Indiegogo that often, and this is I'm kind of excited to do this one. This one is really neat. This one is actually shared by my wife in Bellevue, United States. There's a lot of Bellevues. Is that Bellevue, Washington? So Forgery, a solo horror paint-by-numbers tabletop RPG about art forgery commissioned to recreate a cursed painting. I'll be honest, I'm sold on that that line. That is not something I, yes, I should eat tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Type Pulsar. Um, I'm super sold on just the concept of this because I like it when people do new things. But like when I tell game designers is like, don't do new things just for the sake of doing new things. I look at this and I go, I really want to like this, but I'm also a little leery because it is really a step outside of kind of the boundaries of what we're necessarily used to. So is it somebody doing something for the sake of doing something different, or do they have an actual fleshed out idea that's going to be a complete product? Because it sometimes you have like a great idea, quote unquote great idea, and then you go to put it in fruition and it's not a complete product. But this looks really cool overall. So it's 20 and there's 17 days left. So 92% there. Banana Chan. I just want to talk to this person because I love their name. It's 2023 in New York City. You graduated from art school with dead prospects and not too much talent. Well, most people that graduate art school, unless they've made great connections somewhere, like people that graduate film school, the only two things you do at film school: either graduate and become a critic, or you've made lifelong friends that you're going to forge relationships with. Like it's amazing. Like you find out the people that went to film school, like they use a lot of. They have a cinematographer that they went to film school with, or like was a year ahead of them or a year behind them or whatever. And then you find people like Steven Spielberg, who never went to film school until later in life, and he used Schindler's List as his graduating project. Like, how would you like to be in film school? And be like, all right, man, I got like 10 grand to make this movie. I've made this low budget nothing that's I'm super excited about. Like, okay, what am I going up against? Schindler's List. Like, literally paid money to go see that. So, most people, sadly, that graduate art school don't really have great prospects. It's just like film school. You either end up a critic, end up with no work, or you end up with some connections. And most artists I know that have been very successful haven't gone to art school or have never graduated art school. So, see, unfortunately, you're nobody. You are you aced all your classes and you have a great eye, but it's hard to make it into the art forum magazine. Instead, you found contract work by replicating famous paintings and selling them online, which is actually legal as long as you specify it's reproduction. The pay isn't great until you receive your latest commission. Cover by Alex Ekman Lawn. Logo and graphic. That's nice. It's really cool that they're saying who's done all the art, seeing how it's an art-based thing. Let's see. Content warnings. Not all these themes will be covered in this crowdfunding campaign, though hints of them might pop up, especially in the video. The game does have the following: divorce, manipulative romance. Well, it wouldn't be an art thing without that. Being involved in crime, paranormal horror. That sounds fun. Alcohol and drug use, crab mentality. That'd be the crabs bringing each other down to be the one to get out of the pot. Look up an explanation of crabs in a pot. Professional jealousy. I know that one. I've been a victim of that one. Lateral violence, gore, self-mutilation, body horror, sex, abusive thoughts towards your character, and other forms of social relationships, and bugs. Okay, you lost me at the last one. Game is not for kids. And I'm not a huge fan of content warnings necessarily, but the big one Like I'm really on board with content warnings. Right? Hey, look, this isn't for people under 18, or hey, this is like using the movie rating systems. Give me a G, a PG, PG-13, whatever. So the game is a story of down on her luck art forger named Tempest, who receives a new commission to recreate a painting that they discover is cursed over time. It's a solo tabletop role-playing game where you, the player, will be coloring in a paint-by-numbers image. The colors that you choose determine the outcome of the story. This sounds really neat. Oh, that is really creepy. I am going to have to get a copy of this and literally play this on stream. Oh, that's a really cool die. So, super unique idea. I want to see where it goes. And we're going to keep on top of this one because I want to see more about this. There's a lot of really cool art, which makes sense, seeing how it's a, it's an art-based game. Glad we finally found something cool on Indiegogo. We've been really missing out on stuff popping up on Indiegogo. Always worried about flexible goals. Oh, but they're super close. So just $700 more or $605 more. They'll be good. Let's see. Okay, not a role playing game, but so. Pulsar says, horror usually isn't for kids anyways. Remember when PG-13 meant just barely downgraded R? Well, I remember why PG-13 was created, because Gremlins and Indiana Jones were PG movies. Gremlins was a pretty effed up movie for little kids. It's all around Christmas. Yeah, Temple of Doom was absolutely a PG movie, and they both the Temple of Doom and Gremlins. Everybody said, "Hey, not an R rating, but definitely not a PG movie. Maybe we need something new." So, yeah, Gremlins was not for most children. I loved it as a little kid. Man, did I love Gremlins as a little kid. But I also watched, Alien, the original Alien, when I was like 4, and just was like, whoa, just blown away. And I remember watching 2001 when I was like 5 or 6, just like blown away. Hey, somebody wants to offer a promotion on Portable Mountain. We can get chatbots. Sweet. That's awesome. Oh, man. Let's see. How do we... Joe? No? How do... No? I don't want reply. I don't want to pin the message. This is what happens when I try to be my own moderator. No. Spam bot, spam bot. Spam. Selling bots. Okay. Well, I hope it doesn't get rid of their message. It's awesome. I don't. Whatever. So, this is in our neck of the woods. From Catalyst Games, which says Tacoma, but I swore their office because they don't really have an office. Like everybody, long before recent times, they basically were a non-localized company, so they have people all over the U.S. that work on their, because they were like, we don't need an office. But BattleTech Mercenaries. So a new box set expanding play for the BattleTech game of Armored Combat. They just released the other day. They're getting close to 5. They're over 4.5 million games with nearly 17,000 backers. This is technically a tabletop miniatures game, but if you've played BattleTech and MechWarrior, they always go hand in hand. And if you are at all into playing MechWarrior, you're probably going to back this. And it is easy to convert all of this stuff over. This gives you bazillions of minis and all of the combat rules. So, gives you all the rules so that you could do the combat in. So if you're playing an RPG based in the BattleTech world, once you get to combat in mechs, bam, you just bust this out. You play the combat. Hey, good night, Kyujin. So you end up playing the combat based in BattleTech, and once the combat's done, then you go back to play your RPG. But yeah, I'm super stoked because I always love BattleTech. I remember being granted a Death from Above from a Locust. So Death from Above is get a mech that has a jump jet, and then you land on another one. Locusts are small, fast mechs, and I just stepped off a cliff onto a much larger mech and destroyed the head and took it out. I also destroyed my legs and stood there just firing laser. Well, kind of had my pod with no legs and in the mess, in the wreckage of a larger mech, just shooting what I could. Fun times we have in games, but there's so much stuff available for this. It is, if you're at all interested in this is, yeah. Love Catalyst Games. Love what they love that they're doing great things with BattleTech. I love that they're still pushing out, a ton of old FASA stuff, because they do BattleTech, MechWarrior, and Shadowrun. So thank you, Catalyst, for saving FASA's stuff. Let's see, what do we got? 56 hours to go. This is a small OSR-based game, or an old-school-based game. Classic adventure gaming for 5e and old-school players alike. One book is all you need. They're over $1 million, and nearly 1,100 backers. This is their first game. They've backed a bunch of stuff. This is their first thing on here. I don't know if it's their first game ever. Let's see. Kelsey Diane is a critically acclaimed new and old-school tabletop RPG. Founded the Arcane Library in 2017. Her adventure, the Skyhorn Lighthouse, don't have that. It doesn't ring a bell. Is the highest-rated adventure of all time on DM's Guild. That's awesome. She is writing and designing credits for the best-selling indie games. We need to get a copy of the Index Card RPG. Yeah, and nice to see you there, Fraser Valley. And I hope you've been getting a lot of games lately. But Fraser Valley says Arcane Library's been putting out material for years, and says he's tried a couple of her adventures for one-shots. So, and if Fraser Valley gives Arcane Library a thumbs up, that is good enough for me. He's a great GM. Need to get him. I know we're going to get you back for when we go to Shucks again this year. Love to figure out how to get you down for some stuff on this side of the border, so more people can experience your GMing skills. See, very stripped down material for ease of running the games, and that can be a great thing. Sometimes people put too much into a module, and you overwhelm people, and it's like, oh my god, there's so much. And sometimes you want that. You do. Sometimes you just want these giant things with tons of info, and you're like, oh, you can just pour through it forever. But this looks really well made, and the art is stunning. I don't believe we're... I'm not logged in. I was going to say, I know I backed this. So, yeah, I mean, you can see here the art is stunning. And I would like to... I would, love to see more people back this. I'd love to see in the next, couple days this, is... I'd love to see that, like, 1.5. See, Mike Shea did a review of her stuff on his stream last week, if you recall. Glowing review as well. Yeah. This looks really good. And I'm going to have to reach out to her and say, hey, let's chat about, what you... So, and when this first popped off, we talked about it like the first week it was announced. And this is one that I love. No dark vision. Total darkness is dangerous. And I love that because people, always trying to, oh, well, I've got this or I got that. And it's like, no, there's just no, you can't see in the dark. Love it. So 4 classes: fighter, priest, thief, wizard. Nice basic. D20 based, all high roll system. No skills, just ability checks and advantage, disadvantage. Which the no skills can be really cool because it can be it's more freeing. So as much as I love skills and I love seeing people actually use skill systems, I also like seeing a nice open system where okay, what does this skill do? What would the skill, is this a dexterity based skill? Okay, hey, you want to pick the lock? Give me a dexterity check. Do you pick the lock? All right. Low hit points for fast and deadly combats. Simple encumbrance with gear slots. So, yeah, it just looks so good. And, like, there's so many things in this little, like, talking about the book. Digest size cover. So it's a smaller book. A lot of the OSR old school stuff is kind of going into that, and which falls into the original Zero Edition D&D was that kind of that digest size cover or digest size book, but in a zine. So 330 pages, 2-page separated layout or spread layout. Let's see, 239 classic monsters, 85 iconic spells. 97 mighty magic items, dozens of Rollblast roll tables, handy reference charts, like reference charts. Too many charts, bad. No charts, can be very frustrating. Lay flat sewn binding. Lay flat books are so amazing. Chapter markers along the side. It doesn't take much to include this when you design your book. It may cost a touch more printing, but it is abso-freaking-lutely worth it to your gamers in the end. So premium Shadow Dark. It has basilisk skin. It's actually dark green leatherette. No basilisks were harmed. I like that. Love this. So I need to download the Quick Start and check it out. But I'm excited for this. It does look really cool. There's a lot of things that I think are going to be great for sitting down new players and getting them just going. So if you haven't backed this and you're thoroughly interested in it, you only have 56 hours to do it. Let's see. Oh, this one was shared with us through our Discord. Found this one kind of neat. It is out of Italy. They were looking for $4,300. They're at a little over $7,000 now. So 36 hours to go. so we're happy to issue your treasure dice. So I usually don't talk about like dice and minis and stuff too often, but these were neat. Let's see. How they work. Your players defeated a monster and you have to determine the loot. Ask your player to roll the 3 white treasure dice and check the results. The aim of this is to get more symbols of the same type as possible. Symbols are magic, a potion, coins, I don't know what would represent coins, gems, and a star. The star symbol is a joker and can be comboed with any other symbol. Depending on the monster challenge rating, the monster can allow the players to re-roll 1+ dice if they want. So, and then it just kind of just gives you advice of how to roll to give out loot. And I kind of dig this because it'll speed up some of the things unless you have, because at random encounters you're like, and you get what do they have them? Oh, they get 300 or so. And it can be fun and silly for a way for people to go, ooh, hey, well, what do we got here? So I kind of dig this. This is a really neat idea. And I mean, $13 gets you a treasure dice set that's 6 D12s and a dice bag, so it's not bad. I don't know what the critical dice is. Oh, here's critical dice. All possible effects of critical hits and added the most interesting ones to our system. Other than the additional damage, you can inflict penalties to the AC, to the saving throw, to the movement. Oh, it's just neat little... Oh, you got a critical hit. Here's bonuses. That's kind of cool. I'm more interested in the treasure. The critical hit dice is neat, but the treasure dice... so $21 gets you both sets. $57 gets you 5 sets of the treasure. $86 get you 5 sets of both. So it's probably if you want to resell them. And for the people we were chatting with yesterday, 99 Cent Adventures. They are 45 hours to go. They got a couple more backers since yesterday. So they're at $7,200. And so Ben Thompson is the writer. He's been doing the Badass of the Week for almost 20 years now. Wow, that's bonkers. Has a couple books under his belt about Badass of the Week. And it's just really cool badasses through history. And the artist is Brian Snoddy. Not Snotty, as we all grew up calling him. And the really cool thing, so $5 gets you all 5 of the adventures, all 5 of the PDFs. And the first, they're designed to be played together, or you can play them individually. And they don't necessarily totally butt up. So if you just happen to level up enough in the first campaign and you butt up, then you can butt up. But if there's a gap, and say you finish the first module and you don't make it to level 3, but you somehow made it to the 3rd module, then they talk about how you fill in the gap. Do you play some more to fill in the gap, or is there now a gap that the players have to talk about? How, it's like, okay, well, you're level 3, it's been 6 months time, and what have you done over the last 6 months? Describe, then you tell the party what your character's been doing, or the party comes up with his backstory. So what I do love is all their add-ons. So if you look, there's a boatload of awesome art, and this is all hand done by Brian, and they've got a couple other artists, really well-known artists, that are going to be doing some pieces, but all of Brian's art is done. And you can, so for $120, you can get, they've got 10 left. You can get a large, I don't remember the exact size. You can get a large piece of one of the larger pieces of interior art. and all 5 of the things. So if you do $250, you can get the. Let's see, where's the Bugbear Pirate? Is that art on here? God, this was sold like as soon as they started. This is a stunning piece. And this is, these are examples of the art you would get inside. Let's see. There you go. That's not been sold yet. The Bugbear Pirate Chief. Ah, I love bugbears. I don't have $250. So, and you would get, for $250, you would get the original version of this, the actual physical piece, and all 5 of the PDFs. So, Garden Terror is also available. That's the Garden Terror. Look at all the eyes. Let's see, Lizardman Shaman. That's the Lizardman Shaman that's available. And cover art for Garden Terror. Let's see. Where's the cover art? Oh, this is actually a really sizable piece. So, and then it is stunning to look at. So I've got to see all the art in person. And for $250, you can get custom NPC. They'll mail you all 5 modules, email you all 5 modules, and then plus Brian will draw you as an NPC. That will be included in one of the modules. The image of your character will appear in one of the books, and the original artwork will be signed by Brian and mailed to your door. Back covered Deadly Spores. It's a very Magic the Gathering looking art piece. See, nice to see Snody getting work again. Brian has not taken time off. Brian has been working. He's been doing tons and tons of stuff. He is constantly working, and he teaches art classes. He does all kinds of stuff. He is a fairly busy individual. Let's see. Oh, the custom NPCs. All the custom NPCs have been taken. That's nice. Yeah, this is actually one of my favorites. And yeah, I think this is genius. I mean, they've got a great writer on board. They've got a well-known artist that is just doing this because he loves it. And he's part of the two play games together. You can see the interview we did yesterday. We'll talk more about it, but I can't suggest enough how fun this is going to be. And when you'll get the option to do like a 5e version or an OSR version. So do you want to? Which version do you want to do? Get as your modules to play out of. So, and they've got 44 hours to go. They need to, we need to get them to $100,000. See. Exit Pursued by a Bear, a tabletop zine with multiple casual game hacks about bear and drug-fueled rampage. We all know why this has come out. Honey Heist has been huge for ages, and Cocaine Bear just came out. I knew there would be some Cocaine Bear versions of Honey Heist probably pop up. Stephanie Bryant, name sounds familiar. So we're kicking back and having fun tonight, talking about games, because when your GM calls out for the night, what's the next best thing, right? That's why I love some of these small games. Is if you have players call out or you have a GM call out, you can do something quick and easy like this. Anyway, a certain movie based on a true story of a coked-up bear had just come out, and we started noodling around with all the casual RPGs you could play with cocaine and bears as the premises. So you're looking at a zine with 6 game hacks to play out a story of Pablo Escobar, the legendary black bear who ate up to 40 pounds of cocaine in the Appalachian Mountains in 1985. And Pablo Escobar is been stuffed and mounted like Waylon Jennings owned him for a number of years. So we have some of your favorite Bear and Pretzels games, an original solo RPG, and a Fate one-shot. So it is adorable. So you're getting a bunch of different games for a very low price, and adorable. So let's see, $5 gets you the digital files. Physical Bear gets you is $11, gets you both physical and PDF. Zine and a virtual game gets you is $100. Oh, that means Stephanie will run a game online or in Las Vegas, and then a zine plus physical. So for $110, you can get all three. And I dig it. I was very happy that somebody did a Cocaine Bear-esque game, and doesn't look like they've done anything stupid with it. They look like that it's fun, and nothing crazy over the top, and looks like they have everything pretty much in squared away. Ascendant Platinum Edition. 17 days to go. They're at almost 30 grand. Nice. Durham, North Carolina. Don't get a lot. I love seeing games coming out of areas that are not Chicago or New York or Seattle area, or California. I love seeing games come out of totally random areas. We were talking with a game designer about 6 months ago that's in similar area, and I was just excited. They want to help inspire people in their area to create more games, which I love. Autark. I think we've got some other stuff. Hobby Game Company founded in 2012. It has grown to become a leading publisher of OSR D20 role-playing games. Nice. I'm pretty sure we've got some other stuff from them. So, hang on, I'm going to look at what their other stuff is. 11 created, because I'm pretty sure. Let's see. We have a copy of this, Domains at War. I think somebody donated it to us. Sometimes I like to pop in and see what they've got. But so this is a newer edition of their Ascendant game that they've already released, and it's a 3-book set. If you like superheroes, and Autark has been releasing games. Pinnacle is still out of Arizona. That is correct, which has always made sense because their original game was Deadlands, the Weird West, and makes sense that they're making that out in Arizona. Pinnacle, so you looked back in the 70s and 80s, most everything came out of the Chicagoland area, because TSR, Lake Geneva, is literally a suburb of Chicago. FOSSA was out of Chicago. Most things were out of kind of that Chicagoland area. And then into the 90s, we got a ton of stuff up here in the Puget Sound area. In fact, where we are here is one of the... we have more game companies here than any other area in the U.S. It's bonkers how many game companies we have here. I mean, we've got WotC here, we've got Catalyst, we've got Green Ronin, we've got Artel Saurian, Funko, because they make board games, but I mean Funko is in the area, and from here, I mean, there's tons. I mean, if I could think of more right off the top of my head, and there are a boatload more. Kobold Press is Philly. Oh no! I was thinking Kobolds Ate My Baby. Yes, Kobold Press is out here. Troll Lord Games not Troll Lord Games. Frog God Games is out here. Yeah. Privateer Press, yes. Yeah. When I saw Kobold Press, my brain thought Kobolds Ate My Baby, which is 9th level games. They're out of Philly. But yeah, the Puget Sound, the Seattle area is just full of so many game companies, and it is pretty crazy. Monty Cook, the company, is not based in Seattle. Monty Cook does still live here, but the company is actually it's back east. I think Philly. And they have offices there. They have people that go. They have designers and stuff that work there. So just because Monty Cook still lives here doesn't mean that Monty Cook is based here. The company itself is based elsewhere, and the majority of work is done elsewhere. So. See what is in GameFound. Fall of the Ancients. So this is kind of all over the place. Let's see. We had an award in the Pacific Northwest when we were already heavily playing L5R CCG called the Wolfgang Bauer Award because he always seemed to be the guy that finished one short of making the cut all the time. Well, Wolfgang Bauer is like the same age as my brother. Um, I was like, how old is he? It's funny because people in the gaming industry are like some of you've known for ages, and you're like, huh, wonder how long, like how long have they been doing stuff? And then my ADD kicked in and said, oh, must know now. Anyways, that's like so. This is Hexplorit, Fall of the Ancients. So it looks more board gamey, but they list it in solo and RPGs. So Hexplorit is a cooperative hero building adventure board game toolkit. Players select their hero by combining several character options: race, role, race, trait, and aspect. Your role is your hero's profession, while your race is your heritage and species. Traits and aspects are optional and are found in your expansions and hero's chest. These combinations drive your hero's strengths. Strengths, weakness, and define your unique special abilities. Discover fun synergies. So it looks like a light RPG that is also very board gamey. And it's one of those ones like I'd like to see more on it. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Cancel. What are our options? Warden. New to FOA. This is an all-in option, so $172. Get you a whole bunch of stuff. So it looks like they've... Oh, wow. They've got a ton of stuff. What is this? Holy cow. Yeah, there are. So it's funny because we to Pulsar says there's so many RPG in a board game box games out there, and it's tough where we draw the line and like what is a board game, what is an RPG. And this looks like it is right on that cusp of are you going to do storytelling or is it just rolling dice, flipping cards? Which, to be honest, some people just want the dice chucking of a role playing game. But I love going back to what I used to do with HeroQuest in the 90s. I got other kids playing, and then we'd play 2 or 3 times, and then we'd be like, hey, how about we keep our characters and we can like make them better. It's like, if because we defeated this dungeon, let's you get a plus to your strength or whatever as the barbarian, or you get better with magic or whatever, and they'd get excited about it, and then we'd play a little like that, and we're like, hey, how about we make our own, and I would draw up a new map or a new board on grid paper, and we'd play in that. And then I was like, hey, how about we make our own characters? And they'd be like, oh. And then all of a sudden, now we're playing D&D, and they don't realize that we've converted from playing a board game to D&D. So stuff like this is really cool because you can get people into kind of those basic concepts of playing an RPG that aren't necessarily there yet. Another modern example is Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, yeah. And they're bringing out an actual just straight-up RPG as well. So... And then Talos Lantia. So this is the final and 6th edition with separate 5e conversions. And that's, I believe, 5e to, D&D 5e. So, let's see. So you can get the $200 Early Bird Talisman's Pledge, all in everything Epic Limited. That is giant mini, all 3 books, the maps, the art, the dice, the GM screen, everything. But you can go as low as $20 and get the digital copy for the Talos Lantia 6th ed copy. Then you can get the 5th ed version. And then you can get the PDF book set, which covers all 3 of the Talos Lantia books and the 5e conversion. $60 gets you the core book, or the core book in 5e. $149 gets you all 3 books, the PDFs, a cool D20, and a slipcover. And then you get the not early bird special version of the all-in at $225. So, Talos Lantia is a really cool world. I know some people have. Hello there. Look, I got a visitor. Talos Lantia first came out in, not the 70s. It was like 87. I think it was 87. I'm going to double check. And at one point, I know it was a WotC product. I was right, 87. So, well, okay. So it says, 87. In 1982, a bunch of people formed the company Bard Games to produce their own Dungeons & Dragons supplements. In 1986, due to personal and financial disagreements that arose after publication of Atlantis Trilogy, sold his share. One of the founders sold his shares in Bard Games and left to begin working on a new game system and its supplements. And then sold his shares back. He didn't want to run Bard Games. Sold all his shares back to Seshi, giving Seshi the opportunity to publish his new game, Talos Lantia. So, yeah, first edition came out in 87. Then second edition came out in 88. What? You just... What did you... Oh. All the purrs. Not getting enough attention, huh? And then WotC picked it up in 92. Then there was a 10th edition in 97, or 10 years after. Shooting Iron Morgan Press did 4th edition. They did a D20 edition, and then a 5th edition in 2006. And now we've got our 6th edition and final edition. Yes, this is Minerva. Tiny, tiny little kitty. She weighs like 3.5 pounds. Driving poor Nunzio bonkers. Nunzio is 21 pounds and 14 years old. She is like 6 months old and almost 4 pounds. Let's get into some humble bundle stuff. So, now this one is not RPGs, But do you want to build bookshelves? Do you want to build a table? Do you want to add lighting or something to your home and make your gaming area a little more cool? So $18 gets you 19 DIY books that can help walk you through doing a bunch of stuff around your house to make it more friendly for gamers. Help you do some cool stuff. Bathroom remodeling, probably important for having gamers over. Stain removing, definitely important for after you have gamers over. She's now fascinated with the screen scrolling. But making wood furniture, there's some stuff, great stuff in here about how to do some stuff around your house to make it, and use it to make it more gamer friendly. You can make tables. You don't have to spend $18,000 on a crazy handcrafted wood table. With a little work, you can do it yourself, and you could do some really cool stuff. Make some custom bookcases, do some custom lighting, build a table with a television in it and a removable top. Do all the things that you'd probably spend way too much money for someone else to do, and make it more your style. Have fun with it. I'm always for people doing their own stuff. It's good for you. Well, the internet says hi there, Minerva. What do you say? Her. Boop. She just wants to hang out. So you are a silly cat. So also on Humble Bundle, we have Castles and Crusades. Love Castles and Crusades from Troll Lord Games. And I know they released their 2 core books, the Player's Handbook and the Monsters and Treasure books, both free during the OSR or during the OGL debacle. I don't know if they're still free. They might be. But for $18, you get 37 items, including the core rule books. You went down? Yarp. Say hi. Rawr, rawr. There you go. Use your cat tree attack. So with Castles and Crusades, we've got the Player's Handbook, Monsters and Treasures, Codex Saltarum. It's all Jewish stuff. And I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Codex Classicum. It's all Greek stuff. Gods and Monsters. Rune Lore, which is Rune Lore. Well, Codex Germania is German lore stuff, Germanic lore. So that'd be Germany, Austria, going up into some Norse stuff. Scandinavian-esque stuff. So there's a big overlap. Town of Kalis, the Hallowed Oracle. And it's just, if you want to play a good non-D&D easy to learn system that's fantasy based, it's everything you need right there. $18. They've sold, how many? It's got 4 days left. They've sold 2,500 of them. And this is the second time this has been up. I think they sold so many the last time. Oh, it was so ridiculous. And then this is awesome. So this has 16 more days, so I'll talk about it a couple more times. $25 gets you 46 items. So this is Cubicle 7 re-releasing all the stuff that Fantasy Flight did with Warhammer 40k in Black Crusade, Only War, Dark Heresy. The only core book it's missing is the one for the Space Marines, the Deathwatch book. So it doesn't. This bundle has basically everything except for the Deathwatch stuff. So it's got Only War, Rear Guardsman, Dark Heresy. Oh, I don't think it has. It also doesn't have the Rogue Trader book. So it is missing some stuff, but it's a boatload of things. So Black Crusade allows you to play Chaos Space Marines and Chaos Cultists and does all the Chaos stuff. Only War is IG. You can play as Commissar. You can play as Guardsmen, Imperial Psychers. Then you got Dark Heresy, where you can play as Inquisitors, all kinds of stuff. And inside of Dark Heresy, and then so you got the Dark Heresy Core Rulebook 2nd Edition. Okay. I didn't know there was a 2nd edition. Wow, I'm intrigued. But I love how... so the Inquisitor's Handbook, this added a bunch more stuff and included... is there Adeptus Mechanicus also in the Only War book? Conveniently put up just as they released a new Imperial in PDF. Yeah, I love that they got the rights to this. So I don't know exactly. I've got to suss out how they got all this stuff, because what? What's going on? Because Fantasy Flight lost all the rights to the Warhammer stuff, and then Cubicle 7 started doing the Wrath and Glory, which I believe they're still doing, and then now they have access to all this and they're putting it out, and they've announced they're putting more stuff out for it, which is super awesome, because this was a very well loved, and some people didn't like it, and most of the time I ran into people that said they didn't like it. Turns out they ended up playing Dark Heresy, and then they let someone in to play Space Marine. Sadly, at the end of Warhammer 40k Conquest. The LCG. The LCG, like, that one was so hit or miss. Like, so when Fantasy Flight no longer had the 40k stuff, they stopped doing their 40k Conquest card game, and it was an interesting game. I dug it, but I couldn't find anywhere around here that anybody played. Everybody was like either played the RPG or they played the tabletop minis. And yeah, I actually have some of the Warhammer Invasion stuff still. And I found other areas in the U.S. that the card game was huge. And it was one of those things. It's like all the variations, the L5R living card game that, in this, where I live, man, that was huge. But other areas that I would go to, yeah, nobody played. They're like, I was just never interested. I was like, man, it's just like, I always found it odd that, you could just find this random pocket where this game is huge, and if you live there, it makes it seem like it's one of the biggest things ever. And then you go down the road an hour, and everyone's like, what? Never even heard of that. So there is a ton of stuff. I mean, it's 46 books, so it is most everything that was made for Dark Heresy, Only War, and Black Crusade. Very, very excited. And you get a first month with Warhammer Plus. Not worth it. Every store has Magic, Pokemon, and a niche game. L5R is a niche game, but fans like it. And I will, for the most part, agree with that. There's Netrunner. Man, Netrunner was huge at a couple stores around here. It was massive. Let's see. And then let's talk about Catalyst Games again. So this is a 5e, not 5e D&D, a Shadowrun 5th edition. So Shadowrun is currently on their 6th edition, but there's a huge, like, a ton of people love the 5e stuff, the 5th edition Shadowrun stuff. So this is, I think, the second time they put this up. It still has 2 days left. They've sold 12,000 copies of this bundle. 12,000. I mean, that's awesome. Hats off. It's super cool. So $18 for 17 items. You get the core rulebook, Street Grimoire, Run and Gun, run faster, Chrome Flesh. I love the Shadowrun setting. The 5th edition rules are much better than what I remember playing with as a kid. By far and away, I played 1st edition. Oh man, 1st edition was so bad. I love, and it's great because I love original Cyberpunk. I like the new Cyberpunk Red. I love the world of Shadowrun. And there's a couple new Cyberpunk games that I like. And I like one done locally. I know the guys. Why can I not think of their name all of a sudden? Oh, dang it. On the tip of my tongue. Identico. Yes, thank you. Identico and Gaia's... Oh, done by the guy who did Slay Industries 2nd edition, Chris Shepperson. Gaia something, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. My recall has been horrible today. Let's see, what do we have on our bundle of holding for this week? So there are 26 minutes left on the GURPS 4E combat action. So I've talked about this several weeks. So for $18, you get the GURPS 4th edition martial arts, tactical shooting, gun fu, and 3 high-tech gun books, the Gun Adventure, Pulp Guns version 1 and Pulp Guns version 2. So a bunch of good core stuff for playing GURPS. And then if you go up to $40.41, you get all that, plus 5 GURPS action supplements, Heroes, Exploits, Furious Fists, Specialist, Dictionary of Danger. Then you get 4 more GURPS martial arts expansions, Fair Baron Close Combat, Gladiators, Technical Grappling, and Yurth Fighting Style. Then you get Transhuman, Space, Martial Arts 2100. So it's futuristic martial arts. And I love GURPS. It is a really cool system. It's probably one of my top 10s. It's a lot of fun to have, and this is all the basics that you need to do any genre of non-magical stuff. So with these, you can do any you can do any like modern based, any fantasy based. You want to go into do a Chinese Three Kingdoms based game. You want to do a combat of the daimyos in feudal Japan. You want to do just anything fantasy. You can go back to the Renaissance era. You could go back to there's info on here if you want to go back to just using stones and clubs, and you want to do Aztecs where they're putting sharp stones in what was the name of that? It was a cool weapon. It was sharpened stones in a big brutal club. But allows you to do that. You want to do Vietnam War, Korean War. You want to do skirmishes that never existed. Here's your way to do it. Ends in 24 minutes. We got GURPS Super, also ends in 24 minutes. So $10 gets you your base super book and your superpowers book. Everything you need to play GURPS as superheroes, and it's a pretty good system. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it is definitely a good place to go. And the one thing I like about GURPS is once you learn it, you can pick up anything and go any direction you want. Stands for Generic Universal Roleplay System. So, by Steve Jackson. And then if you go up to $35.07, you get the base books. Plus you get 4 GURPS Powers expansions, Divine Favor, Enhanced Senses, Totems and Nature Spirits, and The Weird. Hey, you get a book about me. Oh. Then you get another 9 GURPS power-ups. So, imbuements, perks, talents, enhancements, quirks, wildcards, and more. I want the and more. Let's see. Goodman, D&D. So, this is a D&D 4th edition collection. I keep telling people 4E was not a bad system. Just wasn't necessarily a good D&D system. But the cool thing is if you look through a lot of this Goodman game stuff, it really expounded upon a lot of the things that made 4E a decent system. So $18, you get Asgar's Books of Rituals, 2 Forgotten Heroes guides, 4 4E Hero handbooks, 4 for the 4th E Character Codex. And if you go up to $28.68, you get the Black Dirge's Dungeon Denizens, 3 4E module collections, Master Dungeons 1 and 2, 4E DM campaign record. So this allows you as the DM to keep notes. Yeah, all the Goodman 4E material that isn't the DCC adventures, basically. But here's the big one, that Death Dealer. This is something to pick up and go through. And then science fiction maps. So this one is new. We didn't see this one last week. So 21 days, $15 gets you space stations, 5 map sets. Orbital Space Station Skovoka ×2, Docking Bay 1V-1E, Smuggler Asteroid Base, and Lilithus Station Shipyard. Spacecraft, 4 map sets, Crow's Nest, Old Scooter, Grey Wing, and HLS Vincula Prison Ship. And then Locus Alien Megastructure. That is a... wow. So, it doesn't tell you how many pages. Thank you, I do need to stretch. I love that it says it's 5,230 megabytes. 4,230 megabytes. And this one, just one map, is 850 megs. And then this one is 6 map sets for another 5,840 megabytes. Yeah, I know. It's just. I found it entertaining that it says no maps needed for poster maps. No pages needed, but everything else is like, oh, this is a 500 page bundle. This one is 5,840 megabytes. So planet sites, 6 map sets. I'm not going to even attempt to, you know what, I screw up all kinds of other names. So, Cadis Zone Scrapyard, Caldera Power Station, LV's Hope, landing platforms, mountain landing pad, Petrula Corp prison mine. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. And so for $29, you get all of them, everything in the gray and everything in the blue. And that's a boatload of maps, to be honest. So you get planet sites, desert planet, the mega structure, spacecraft, 4 map sets, and space stations. So, I mean, if you're doing anything remotely in space, all the maps for your Traveler and Spacefinder needs. That is very correct, Pulsar. Yeah, I mean, this is a ton of stuff that you can make tons and tons of campaigns based off of. If you're doing sci-fi stuff, this is your friend. So, $29 gets you 23 gigs of maps. That's a lot. Okay. Hey, good night, Fraser Valley, and hope to see you again here in the future. So, for everybody else at home, we are going to call it a night. The library is now closed. We've gone through a bunch of Kickstarter stuff, all kinds of awesome stuff available on Bundle of Holding. This map thing is really cool. You can get Castles and Crusade stuff in the Humble Bundle. You can get tons of 40K RPG stuff in Humble Bundle as well. Plus some awesome 5 Shadowrun 5th edition bundle. And then, just some cool stuff. And this one really has me intrigued. I'm going to reach out to this individual, and I'm super intrigued by this one. I want to know more. So, until next time, the library is now closed. And if you want to find out how to help us, you can go to our website, alexanderrpg.com, soon to be a .org, and you can find out how to assist us via funds or funds donation, books donation, or time donation. And we need all the help we can get. And I didn't bring them down with me, but you can also go to Level Up Dice and order a dice puck with our logo on it. And every one of those sold, that helps out the library. And you get an amazing set of aluminum dice. They're laser etched with our cool logo that my wife and I designed. So, until next time, you all have a great time, and go out and game with some people. Make stories.